Back at Cleveland Browns Stadium, ready for the Browns and the Jaguars. Overcast but unseasonably warm with temperatures in the mid-50s here in Cleveland today. Jack Del Rio, one of the longest tenured head coaches in the National Football League, in his 9th year at the helm in Jacksonville. The Jaguars started the season at 1-5, but since then have won 2 of their last 3. And on the other sideline, Pat Shurmur, the Browns' rookie head coach, knows it's been a tough run for the fans here in Cleveland. Feels like there's a good nucleus with this team, and there are good things ahead for the Cleveland Browns. Jacksonville won the toss, but they've deferred to the second half, so that means the Browns will have the football to start the game. Josh Cribbs, one of the best all time in the return game, is back deep. Josh Scobie ready to kick it off. Cribbs, and he'll take a knee. They'll bring it out to the 20. Colt McCoy brings out the Browns on offense, making his 18th career start today. He's tough and mobile. They like to get him outside the pocket. He's thrown for just under 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions.
Just into what would be his second year, the early part of his second year, if he had started every game since being drafted. Colt McCoy, you saw on the graphic, 5 wins over the course of his starting career. And he spoke to Mike Holmgren on the sideline during practice on Friday. He said, "I hope he's the guy."
They called offsides on Jacksonville on the opening kickoff, so Cleveland will start 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Keep it on the ground. Left side, Obanaya out just across the 30-yard line. Cleveland has 2 of the best in the league up front, and Alex Mack at center, and Big Joe Thomas, the Pro Bowler at left tackle. The backs and receivers, Obanaya joined the Browns just 5 weeks ago, and the rookie wide receiver Greg Little has come on. They think he's got a big future and have tried to get him more involved in the passing game. 2nd and 5. McCoy, center of the field, incomplete. Tried to hit Jordan Norwood, threw it just behind him. Here's the Jacksonville defense up front. Hot roast. Terrence Knighton is out for the 2nd straight game. C.J. Mosley starts instead. They have outstanding linebackers for Jacksonville. Pusluzny came over from the Bills. Darryl Smith may be one of the most underrated in the league. He's just relentless. And the secondary suffered a big loss. Rasheem Mathis, their Pro Bowl corner, went down, so Derek Cox slides over to the left side. William Middleton starting today at corner on the right. And movement before the snap.
Offside, defense, number 97. Unevaded the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now, one of the things about this Jacksonville defense, you see there, Jack Del Rio, they brought in a lot of free agents. Pusluzny came over, Coleman came over. And the thing that I think that they did better than most teams do, they found guys that would fit their system. Forget about being great players. They found guys that would play in their system where they had played before very well, and it's really served them well this year.
From the 35-yard line, McCoy going up the sideline for Cribbs. Nice catch. And a flag is down on the play after a big gain for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, this is going to be on Cribbs. The crowd's not going to like it, but Josh Cribbs pushed off to get separation.
Pass interference, offense number 16. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Working against Ashton Yabodi. And you'll watch as he gets there, the ball's in the air. Watch right there, he uses his arm to push off and get the separation. And that's what helped him get the separation, to elevate, to feel comfortable, to jump up and make that catch. And it was just enough to get the penalty. That was a good call.
So again, a bad start for the Cleveland Browns. A 33-yard gain negated. They push it all the way back to the 25-yard line. 1st and 20 for Cleveland. Out route caught at the 30 by the rookie Little. Cleveland has struggled early coming in today. They had a total of -6 yards of offense in their opening possession over the last 5 games. They've scored only 9 points in the first quarter all season.
And there you see no Peyton Hillis. That really helps you when you've got an offense that's struggling, a guy that can bruise it and get positive yards every time he touches it. But also you've seen the Browns shooting themselves early already with the penalty on Cribbs and the drop pass also by Norwood.
2nd and 16. Opening possession for the Cleveland Browns just underway. Obanaya muscles his way out to the 33-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and long, a pickup of 3.
We spoke to Obanaya on Friday. Very quiet, well-spoken, and believe me, he is a guy who appreciates the opportunity that the Browns have given him, and that's he's the kind of guy you like to have on your team, a guy who's hungry to play well for you, and that's exactly his frame of mind coming into this game and the rest of this season. Obanaya wants to make himself valuable to this club.
He played with Colt McCoy at Texas, had the longest run of the season for the Browns last week when he broke one for 32 yards. 3rd and 13. Norwood is the motion man. McCoy trying to set up the screen to the right, and they do. Ben Watson is going to be short of the first down. Pickup of 10. They needed 13.
Offense, number 79.
Well, that's
Terry McCauley, our referee today. They'll decline the penalty.
Push Pashos on the screen, and what happens is the offensive linemen are not allowed to run down the football field while the quarterback still has the ball in his hands, and on a screen pass it's really difficult for them to stay disciplined and not do that because you just get panicky and you just kind of get antsy to get down there and make your block, and got out a little too early.
So the struggles on their opening possession continues for this Cleveland offense. They'll punt on 4th and 3. Brad Maynard punts it away to Mike Thomas. Thomas waving everyone away, and this will go out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Gabbard, the rookie, set to go to work when we come back to Cleveland. Opening possession for the Jacksonville Jaguars, trying to get their offense revved up despite Maurice Jones-Drew. They came in today ranked last in the NFL in total offense. First and 10 for the 34-yard line. Gabbard, the rookie, at the controls. Maurice Jones-Drew cuts it back. Out to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 6. Gabbard making his 8th NFL start today. He's completed less than 50% of his passes. Jacksonville last in the league in total offense, and the rookie is in today against a Browns defense that has been very tough to throw on. 2nd and call at 3. Jones-Drew alone in the backfield. Give it to Mojo. And a marker down at about the 41-yard line.
Holding, offense number 68. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Guy Wimper, the right tackle, called for the infraction. Jacksonville up front. Brad Meester at center ties a franchise record by playing in his 171st career game today. Maurice Jones-Drew, just a complete package, 2nd in the NFL in rushing. He'll carry the load against this physical front 7 for Cleveland. And as you said in the open, Steve, they'd really like to get Mercedes Lewis, their all-pro tight end, going. Caught by Thomas. Out to the 36-yard line, Phil Taylor made the stop after a pickup of 5. Browns have played well on defense. They come in ranked 6th overall, 1st against the pass. They get a big push up front. Ataba Rubin having a tremendous season. The linebackers, DeQuell Jackson is having a Pro Bowl type year. He's been flying around making plays. And in the secondary, the Browns have their young shutdown corner in Joe Hayden. TJ Ward is still out. Osama Young starting today at strong safety. 3rd and 8 for Jacksonville. Gabbard, incomplete. trying to hit Lewis.
Yeah, two things are going to really help Jacksonville. If Blaine Gabbert can throw the football more accurately, and if Mercedes Lewis can start getting open and getting the football in his hands. You see there, that's on Mercedes Lewis. He's got to pull that in. That's not that bad a throw. You see guys make that catch every week in the NFL, and he just lets it get away from him. That's a play that I think Lewis would love to have back.
Harris on the punt. Gibbs is back deep. He's going to let this bounce. And it will be downed at about the 16-yard line. Both McCoy and the Browns, their second possession coming up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars side by side at Autotrader.com. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
This is the fourth consecutive year that the Browns and the Jaguars have met. Cleveland won 2 of those last 3 meetings, but Jacksonville has the overall series advantage 9-4, and they've won 5 of the 6 meetings here in Cleveland. Obadiah out to the 20-yard line. DeJuan Landry made the stop after a pickup of 3.
Yeah, and you got to know Obadiah is a guy that is in the game because 2 or 3 other guys got hurt. This is well blocked up front. You see the hole there, and you see he just hesitates a little bit instead of just ducking his head down, getting a few extra yards. That could have made that into a 2nd and 5 instead of a 2nd and 7, and that's a big difference for an offense that's struggling.
Power I formation. Boy will throw, comes into the sideline. That's caught by Massaquoi. Back this week after suffering the effects of a concussion. Came in with 18 catches this season for 239 yards, 13 of those receptions for first downs.
That's a great job by Massaquoi. He has to move up. You see him move up. That's awareness because there's a tackle there, and he wasn't covering the tackle. It was a formation snafu that he covered for, then went and ran his route and got the reception. What good awareness before the snap, and then completing the play for the reception. Great job.
In his 3rd year out of Georgia, 2nd-round pick back in 2009. Obadiah. Tough yards inside, gets it out close to the 35-yard line. Clint Sessions, the former Colt, made the stop.
Yeah. Sessions is going to come and step right into the hole exactly like he's supposed to do, and that's what the way a 4-3 defense works. The big defensive tackles down inside. In this case, Mosley and Alualu just soak up all the offensive linemen, don't let them get up there, and the linebackers are unblocked, running right to the football. Sessions laying a great hit on Obadiah right over the ball.
Session has been a nice addition after 4 seasons with the Colts, signed with Jacksonville as a free agent last July. Here's the reverse, Scribbs. And the Jaguars were ready for that. DeJuan Landry, the safety, was the first man there.
Now, one of the reasons you're a good run defense is you stay at home. Watch this as you see Roth kind of gets caught inside, but the pursuit from the safety comes and that's what you said. Lowry and Landry coming up there, the 2 safeties, getting the play strung all the way to the sidelines, brings up a 3rd and 6. Great job, and that's how you're a good defense. Nobody just pursues blindly. They always make sure they have their responsibility first.
McCoy from the shotgun. Here they come on the blitz. Gets rid of it. That's caught by the tight end Watson, and he's got a first down for Cleveland. Landry brought him down after a pickup of 8.
Excellent play by the Browns. Colt McCoy standing in there. Jacksonville brings extra pressure, 5-man rush, plus a green dog. And then Watson comes open across the middle. One of the guys who was not rushing was in coverage, and one of the guys that protected. And as soon as his man blocked, they had 6 rushers, not 5, and McCoy still got it off.
From the 45-yard line, Obadiah. No running room. Darrell Smith made the stop. Always a force for Jacksonville on defense. 6 straight seasons of at least 100 tackles, over 1,000 stops in his career.
Yeah, he's the guy that's been part of that linebacking core since he was drafted 8 years ago. Then Puzzlesny and Sessions have come in. this year. And it's amazing. You talk to all three guys and they say, wow, they like each other. They've really bonded together. They play well together. They communicate well, and that goes a long way towards making the whole better than the sum of its parts.
2nd and 9 for Cleveland. Play action. McCoy with time over the middle. That's caught by Obaniah just across midfield.
You know, this is a nice steady drive, and this is what the Browns have not been able to do enough of. Colt McCoy finding his receivers, settling really for checkdowns, making the decision quick enough to just gun the football in. You know, Pat Shurmur we spoke to on Friday, and he's just a steady, level guy, was not panicking about where they were and shrugged his shoulders about the games they could have won or should have won and said, listen, we are what we are, but we're going to get better.
3rd and 4 now for Cleveland. 8th play of this drive upcoming. They rush 4, backing out of the blitz, up the sidelines, and that is almost caught by Greg Little. Made a nice adjustment on the ball and reached up over the cornerback Derek Cox, but couldn't come down with it.
And this is a play that you'd like to see an NFL receiver make. The ball gets up, gets both his hands on it, and loses it. And that's, you know, that guy right there, I mean, he threw it good enough to be complete, and he didn't get rewarded for it.
Brad Maynard, his first punt was just 23 yards. This considerably better. Fair catch called for and made by Mike Thomas, so it will be a long field for the second possession of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's coming up. The Home Depot SEC on CBS heats up the holiday. What a lineup. Friday, number 6 Arkansas takes on top-ranked LSU. Saturday, rivals clash in the Iron Bowl. Always one of the great games in college football, Alabama and Auburn. It begins with college football today. And Steve, we could be looking at the top 3 teams in the BCS standings in those 2 games.
No, it's absolutely. CBS is going to get a great couple of games this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Got to tune in. That's why college football is what it is, those games.
What a weekend in college football. Oklahoma State beaten on Friday. Baylor beats Oklahoma, and USC stuns Oregon out west. Maurice Jones-Drew able to get through a crease and out to the 13-yard line, a pickup of 5.
You know you're going to get him. I mean, we're going to keep track of this, and I just decided this minute, so help me. We're going to keep track of how many first plays of the drive does Maurice Jones-Drew get the football on a handoff. It's been 2 in a row, and they just turn around and hand it to him the first play of every dive, and just to see if that defense can stop him.
2nd and 5, high formation for Jacksonville. Play action. Gabbert had lots of time. Now checks it down to Mercedes Lewis, and he's brought down short of a first down. So let's check in now for an update. Here's JB in New York for the latest on Cincinnati and Baltimore.
Cincy trying to stay successful on the road.
Yeah, Bill and Steve, no Ray Lewis today. They look awfully easy. Cedric Benson, 7 yards up the middle. They take the early lead, 7-0.
Good point, Coach. Without Ray Lewis, back to Bill McAtee and Steve Tasker.
If there's one player whose absence will deflate a team, Ray Lewis may be the biggest guy in that regard.
Big game in the AFC North. Both those teams came in this week a half game behind the Steelers. Mojo trying to get the first down and powers his way out to the 20. Fresh set of downs for the Jacksonville Jaguars, a pickup of 3.
And that is a tough, hard 3-yard run. The Browns know he's going to get it. They're focusing on him. They get penetration. Get a great hit in there by Rubin, and he just doesn't wrap him up. So difficult to tackle. Maurice Jones-Drew, every defender we speak to throughout the year when we're doing Jacksonville games, they say the same thing. Man, he is hard to tackle.
Second possession for Jacksonville. More Mojo. Powers his way to the 24, and now let's send you back to New York. JB, the latest.
Dallas trying to add to Washington's woes.
And I'll tell you, Des Bryant and Tony Romo hooking up right here. Beautiful pass, catch, 22 yards, and you got Dallas on the boards first, 7-0.
That in Landover, Maryland, back to Bill McAtee and Steve Tasker.
All right, guys, thank you. The Cowboys creeping back up there in the NFC East.
They're playing better every week.
2nd and 6. They shift back into the shotgun. Incomplete. Over the middle, he tried to hit Jason Hill.
Well, Joe Hayden is playing corner in Cleveland for one reason. Not only was he a high draft pick last year, he's good. Breaks on the football, gets actually both hands, comes in, hits his right arm with his right arm, and then comes around with his left arm. You can't defend it any better than it looked open, but it was not, and Joe Hayden closed on it so fast to snap it off.
Hayden, the 7th player taken overall in the 2010 NFL Draft. So 3rd down for Jacksonville. Deji Kareem has checked in for the Jaguars. Gabbert, they run the slant, back shoulder, nice catch, great adjustment by Hill, and that's going to be a 1st down for the Jaguars.
Well, Hill caught it twice, but he only gets credit for 1 catch. And watch as he comes off, working against Hayden again, and nice patient move, and that's as much separation as you can get. Hayden lost his footing at the 30-yard line and went down. You see, just loses it, and then sees the football bobbling around, almost got the pass defense anyway.
Pickup of 13 yards. Mike Adams, the Browns' free safety, is down on the field, so timeout here in Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint. All football, no limits, only from Sprint. And by Dodge Grand Caravan, the right tool for the job.
Back in Cleveland. Mike Adams on the sideline, being tended to. Browns are already thin at safety. TJ Ward still out. Gabbert, nice fake on the move, slings it, incomplete, but there's a flag down at about the 36-yard line. It was intended for Jason Hill.
Yeah, this is going to be a defensive hold on Jacksonville.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, defense number 99. That penalty's declined. Illegal contact, defense number 23. 5 yards penalty, automatic 1st down.
So they accept the penalty on Joe Hayden and turn down the one on Scott Fujita.
Yeah, Fujita came out, and as the tight end tried to get separation, watch. This is Hayden on the outside, right at the top of the route. When Hill tries to come out right there, he grabs him and pulls him backwards. That's a good call. Hayden had his hand, first his right hand, then his left hand.
7th play of the drive. Deji Kareem driven back. Well, get scores and manage CBS Sports Fantasy Football teams on your mobile phone. To get the free app, simply call *CBS or go to cbssports.com/mobile.
Yeah, that's a play that shows you just how important Maurice Jones-Drew is. Deji Kareem comes in, tries to give him a spell, a little bit of rest, and they get nothing.
Mojo back in the game. 2nd and 12 for Jacksonville. They've converted to 3rd down so far. Gabbert. Jarrett Dillard with the catch. Pickup of 8.
And this is the kind of thing, that throw right there, some of the decisions Gabbert's made early on shows you why there's a lot of hope in Jacksonville, particularly in that coaching staff. They think Gabbert can be the guy. That's a well-thrown football right where it needed to be, on time, in rhythm, with some heat on it. And it was a great decision, good, and a good throw. And that's why, you know, they're going to stick with this guy, and they're happy they drafted him.
Browns try to take a timeout, and they do. On 3rd and 4, Jacksonville on the move.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
A moment ago, the Cleveland Browns took a timeout. This is the reason I think they did. They had the double tight ends here. Then they had a little confusion right there. DeQuell Jackson trying to get him lined up. He runs back, calls the timeout. He did not like that offensive formation or the personnel they had on the football field.
So they spread him out on 3rd and 4. Empty backfield. Browns rush 4. Gabbert on the move. And he gets the first down. That's a nice individual effort. Big mobile quarterback. And the Jaguars have some running plays designed to take advantage of that. Well, that was improvised, however.
Yeah, it really was. It was a great job by Gabbert. One of the things we noticed about these teams, they have identical records, but they're also built identically. Good defenses with big running backs that they depend on, although Peyton Hillis is out of the lineup. But they also have wide receivers that they'd love to upgrade. They'd love to have a big number one. Neither team has a big number one wide receiver, and it showed on that play as Gabbert couldn't find anybody.
They needed 4 yards, and he got 4 yards. Nice fake. Gabbert, all kinds of time now. And he's going to run this one. Out of bounds at about the 43, 42-yard line. Pickup of 6.
And that kind of is more about what I just said. I mean, Gabbert's back there with, I mean, he could have coffee and a sandwich. He had so much time back there this time and has nobody that is getting any separation to give him an option to throw the football. He wants to throw it back to the way the play fake was. It wasn't there. And then nobody is working hard to get open down the football field. Now, granted, they had max protection. There weren't that many guys down there to work.
So that's the end of the first quarter. No score here in Cleveland, and we'll return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Ready to go with quarter number 2 here in Cleveland, and I would say that first quarter was fairly even.
Well, these teams, we've said it all along, are similar, and they're playing some identical football right now.
Jacksonville held the ball the last 5.5 minutes of the opening quarter. This drive started at their own 8. Nice running again by Maurice Jones-Drew. Schafering made the stop.
It really is interesting to look how these teams are built, and I know the Jacksonville fans are impatient as well as these Cleveland Brown fans are almost desperate up here. But both these clubs are built a lot alike. You get the big running back, the young developing quarterback, and a good defense, and you look around the league, that's how it's done. Cincinnati's doing it with Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, and that good defense with Cedric Benson. It's just a blueprint.
Jones-Drew dragged down at the 36-yard line by Emmanuel Stevens, the right defensive end.
I mean, we could talk about it, you know, for hours on end, because that's just, you know, the philosophy in the National Football. You get a guy like that guy right there, young, good arm, used to winning, does everything right, and a guy across the way, Blaine Gabbert, who has got a big arm, a lot of, you know, he's got a great pedigree, makes great decisions, and you build a club around them. You start with a defense and a running back.
Jacksonville moved up to take him in the draft. The 10th pick overall, 2nd and 8. Gabbert will throw again. Seam incomplete. Mike Thomas turned around, was looking for a flag, but won't get one.
And another thing that these teams have in common is they both need a big number one receiver. See Mike Thomas inside this, and I'll tell you, in his defense, Mike Thomas, he does get his shoulder jerked right there by Patterson, but Mike Thomas is a slot receiver. He's an undersized guy, very quick inside, has good hands, and that's right where he should be playing. So you'd expect him to win that battle.
Jacksonville facing another 3rd down. They've converted 3 on this drive. 14th play of the drive coming up. Gabbert stands in. Great protection. That's caught. And finally, Mercedes Lewis with a catch, and that will move the chains again for Jacksonville.
And once again, Mercedes Lewis going down to make that catch. And this is, you see a little bit out in front of him, but he just loses his balance. And I'll tell you what, I don't know that he actually got enough. They gave him the first down, but his knee goes down early, and they let him have the extension of the ball past the marker.
Officially a 9-yard gain. They spotted inside the 30. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. They're threatening. Kareem to the 25-yard line.
Blaine Gabbert doing a nice job of managing this game. The throws he's making I think, are good. I mean, they're accurate enough, they have a lot of velocity, and they're the right decisions, and that's the thing you really look for in a young quarterback. You don't draft a guy where they drafted Blaine Gabbert unless he can make the throws, but the decisions, I think, are getting better week by week.
9 rushes, 6 passes. Here's the 7th of this drive. Maurice Jones-Drew, and he has another Jacksonville first down to the 15-yard line. Chris Gokong and Scott Fujita combined to make the stop after a pickup of 10.
And the Browns trying to do a nice job of just getting pressure with the front 4. Maurice Jones-Drew so much a part of this offense. I mean, it's wherever he goes, I think the Browns got to send 2 guys. I mean, and that may be enough.
Maybe.
That's a big maybe.
Browns come on the blitz. Thomas, and he's got it down to the 6-yard line. That was good for 9 yards.
And now Gabbert is playing extremely well right now. Compared to what he's done in the last month and a half, he is really throwing the football extremely well. The offensive line ahead of him picking up the 5-man rush by the Browns, giving him some time, and man, what a nice breath of fresh air that is for Gabbert.
And he's doing it against the Cleveland defense that came in ranked #1 in the league against the pass. Osgood was the motion man. Mojo into the end zone. Wow. Maurice Jones-Drew with a touchdown for Jacksonville.
Oh, we said that he is so hard. And then we talked to Scott Fujita. He said it. He is so hard to tackle. Watch as he gets stopped and just decide not to go down. Watch this. He'll get hit. Boom. Nice shot by 3 different guys. And it just takes too long to get him on the ground from the 6-yard line, powering it in. That's why that guy is so great.
Caps off a 92-yard drive, the 5th touchdown run of the year for Maurice Jones-Drew. Scobie with the extra point. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the board. They lead it 7-0. Well, Jacksonville went 3 and out on their first drive, and then they followed that up with their longest drive of the season. 18 plays, 92 yards. They picked up 8 first downs. Scobie ready to kick it off. Josh Cribbs back deep. Red hops it. He's dangerous. One of the best all time in the return game. 8 kickoff returns for touchdowns in his first 6 years in the league. He had a good one there. 7-0 Jacksonville. The Browns will go back to work when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, with 5 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores. Acura, Advance. And by Head & Shoulders, respect the scalp, get the hair.
The Browns will start from their own 35-yard line, trying to respond to the Jacksonville touchdown. Just under 11 minutes left in the half. Play action for Colt McCoy. And incomplete. Ogbonnaya was the intended receiver. Will stay in the game all season long with the NFL's new selection of mobile apps. Get unparalleled access to stats, fantasy news, video, and more. Go to NFL.com/mobile today. 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. Colt McCoy coming off his best completion percentage as a quarterback in the NFL, almost 75% last week against the Rams. The drought in the first quarter, though, continues for Cleveland.
Yeah, that first down play hurts. McCoy stepped up in the pocket, then put it right into Ogbonnaya, but he had too much on it, and it got on him so quickly he couldn't adjust to the inaccurate throw. McCoy doing what he could to get it to the right guy, but just couldn't connect. And that's, when you look at films as an NFL player, it never fails. Those small things change everything in your game film and in the way the game turns out.
After the pickup of one, it's another 3rd and long facing the Cleveland Browns. 3rd and 9. And again, movement before the snap.
Encroachment, defense number 93. 5-yard penalty.
They call it on Tyson Alu. So that will make the 3rd down more manageable.
We spoke to Tyson just yesterday. What a quiet, soft-spoken guy. You'd never know that he beats people up for a living.
First-round pick last year. And one matchup worth watching today, Alu against Alex Mack, the Browns' fine young center. They used to go against each other every practice when they were at Cal in college, and Tyson said that made me a much better player. 3rd and 4 for Cleveland. Batted down, incomplete. And the Browns will have to punt. John Chick got a hand on it. Former Defensive Player of the Year in Canada, and he is an explosive pass rusher.
Yeah, you watch right on the right-hand side. He's going to throw it right over the top of him, and Chick just gets right up. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. If you can't get there, Pashos, really for right tackle, he did a great job, and then still his guy makes the play.
So we'll see Brad Maynard, the punter, did a good job fielding the snap. Mike Thomas takes it at the 15-yard line and spins out of bounds at about the 25. Gabbard and company will go back to work with 9.5 minutes left in the half. Back in Cleveland, 7-0 Jacksonville. Blaine Gabbard, we had a chance to talk with him. He really has not lost his confidence despite some rough patches. Got his first win on the road last week against the Colts.
Nice drive, that last possession.
Started that last one at their own 8-yard line. They'll begin here from their own 26. Mojo muscles his way to a yard or so, and let's take a look back at Blaine Gabbert, the rookie out of Missouri.
Yeah, and he did a lot of good things in this drive. Well, pinpoint throws, got a little help there from Hill on the bobble catch, but then makes a good throw outside. You see there, then the great scramble that he made to get a first down. Made another scramble subsequently in the drive that led to Maurice Jones-Drew touchdown. Really a well-managed drive, very steady, very compact.
Mojo left side to the 30-yard line. Let's get the latest on the Bengals and the Ravens, JB.
Bad Cincy punt gave the Ravens good field
Oh,
position.
no play action. Flacco best when he's out of the pocket. He's going to look down and find Anquan Bolden 35 yards out, and they're going to tie it up 7-7 right now in Baltimore.
JB, Coach Calvert, thank you very much. Big game in the AFC North. Jacksonville now facing 3rd and 6. They need to get it just past the 35-yard line. Incomplete. That was intended for Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah, that was great defensive stand by the Cleveland Browns. Got good pressure with 5 men up the front. DeQuell Jackson almost gets through, and then he does take the shot from Reuben. And the pressure is really what made him kind of have to hold that football and release it at a different point than I think he was going to. He was going to hold that ball a little longer.
Good standing back at about the 25-yard line. Retreats a little. And there's a marker down on the field as Cribbs is tackled at the 32-yard line. A 46-yard punt, but let's check the penalty.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 22. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Buster Screen, the rookie, called for the infraction. 7-0 Jaguars.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by the Honda Odyssey, like no van before.
And we're back. 7:53 left to play in the opening half.
Their body language tells the story, doesn't it?
It's not so positive. Show me something. From their own 13-yard line, 1st and 10 for Cleveland.
Rim short.
Short drop for Colt McCoy. He takes off and brought down just across the 15-yard line. C.J. Mosley starting today for Terrence Knighton made the stop.
Man, this defense, and you look at the job they've done against this Browns offense, 5 plays, 8 plays, and 3 plays and out, resulting in 3 punts. Pat Shurmur, that one of those head coaches that is the head coach and play caller offensively.
Second and 7. Jaguars came in with the defense ranked 4th in the league. They allowed just 3 points last week. McCoy center the field, and Little didn't look like he was anticipating the ball coming that quickly, but made a nice adjustment and the catch. A first down for Cleveland.
Well, you said it, and Little is going to come right down the left side of your screen, right down the hash mark, and look, he sees it very late, and it's a great throw by McCoy right to the spot where it needed to be. See, that ball's in the air right in front of Lowry, and Little makes the catch. We've seen a lot of drops by the Browns receivers. That one you kind of understand it. He wasn't even expecting it, and yet made the catch.
22 yards, a nice play for Cleveland. Out to Cribbs. Fights his way for an extra couple of yards. Pick up a 4 to the 42-yard line. DeJuan Landry made the tackle.
You know, we talk about Greg Little and the year he's having.
Second among rookies in receiving, behind only A.J. Green of the Bengals, who's inactive today.
It's not too many yards like those other guys, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot of catches for a young guy in this league.
Moved into the starting lineup in week 6. And now as Cleveland's leading receiver, came in with 37 catches for 379 yards. Still looking for his first NFL touchdown. Obadiah on the delay. And that is stopped at the line of scrimmage.
And he's hurt. And I'll tell you what, the Browns do not need another running back to go down with injury. Watch as he takes this. He's going to sit there and just wait for a moment and then take it and go. And he just couldn't find his feet. And there's no telling why he got up. Look at that. You see where he grabs his leg. Seems to be okay, staying in the game.
Thomas Clayton, who was just signed November 1st, is the only other healthy running back they have for the halfback position. That's caught. Another first down in Jacksonville territory. And here goes Jordan Norwood. Dwight Lowry saves the touchdown.
Well, it's all about run after the catch. An incredible job by Jordan Norwood catching that ball and shaking 2 Jacksonville defenders right down the middle of the football field. McCoy throws that, watch, boom, right there. What a great move by Norwood to get loose, and then it's just a foot race, and of course, Lowry runs him down.
Chris Przinski, the backup safety, is not going to want to see that in the film room. First and goal for Cleveland. They trail by a touchdown, looking for points. McCoy to the end zone. Incomplete. They say Greg Little did not have control.
What a great decision, a great throw by Colt McCoy to the back of the end zone. Little gets past the second window and has both hands on it. Oh, and the ball comes out. McCoy puts this ball out there. Yeah, it could have been a little higher, but he's got both hands on it. That should have been a catch, and Little can't pull it in. He rolled the wrong way. He's got to roll away from McCoy. He tries to roll towards the line of scrimmage, and the ball gets down on the ground. Wow.
Second and goal. Again to the end zone. Incomplete, but a flag. And now another one comes in. Obadiah, the intended receiver, and DeJuan Landry got there early.
Pass interference. Defense number 26, the foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line.
I agree with the
Automatic
call.
first down.
I agree with it. Landry was on him, wasn't playing the ball. And I'll tell you what, Colt McCoy stood in the pocket, takes a shot in the back. And that's interference. There was contact. You see right there, Obanaya's got to have an opportunity to play that football, and Landry was in his way.
And again, whistle and a flag before the snap.
We had a timeout down here.
No, they're going to challenge.
Jack Del Rio threw the red challenge flag. You can't challenge a pass interference call.
Jacksonville is challenged if the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Ah, there you go.
That is the one
Timeout.
situation where you can challenge a pass interference call. 4:06 left in the half. We're back, and it looks like C.J. Mosley did get a hand on it.
And this changes everything. Watch here as McCoy lets this ball go. Mosley's finger tips that football. And what that means is at the other end, there can be no pass interference penalty because you can make contact if the ball is tipped. Nobody picked that up except Jack Del Rio. And that's going to mean that is going to be an incomplete pass with no penalty.
The ruling on the field stands. Jacksonville is charged with its first team timeout.
Okay, I don't get that.
And that's what Jack is saying. Wait a minute. It was tipped.
We got to get a clarification on that because once the ball is tipped, there can be contact in the secondary, and that would negate the penalty. And Jack, you can see Jack Del Rio's kind of holding his hands up going, why isn't that negate the penalty? And I agree with him. I don't understand that.
They were 0 for 4 for touchdowns in the red zone a week ago. They'd love to get in the end zone here. Stop just short. Obanaya. And Cleveland's last first-half touchdown came all the way back in Week 6 when Colt McCoy and Alex Smith connected on a 1-yard touchdown pass. They have had trouble getting into the end zone. 2nd and goal for Cleveland.
And this is exactly where the injuries to their backfield will show. Without Peyton Hillis in there, it's a tough go.
Obanaya. He's got it.
That's a great offensive play call. You don't have a back that can go inside the tackles or the big physical run, but you do have a guy that's good going wide. Let him do what he does best. Obanaya takes the pitch, and it gives him the opportunity to pick his spot, and it's really well blocked. Great pull by Pinkston coming out around the end. You see there, 62 goes out, puts Pusluzny down, gives Obanaya the chance to get in the end zone.
Set up by the 51-yard reception by Norwood. Garcia on to try the extra point. He's got it, and we're all tied up. 3:21 left to play in the half. 7 apiece. Obanaya with the touchdown run to put the Browns on the board. Signed from the Houston practice squad, and he really has taken over at running back with all of the injuries, and Peyton Hillis out.
And I know that Colt McCoy probably gave him a little stamp of approval to the Browns when they were deciding who to sign. McCoy, as you said, played with the guy in college. They have a relationship. Even Obanaya said, you know, there are certain things we do out there that I remember and see Colt doing, and I know what he's going to do next, so it has helped.
Deji Kareem is back deep from 3 yards deep in the end zone, bringing it out. Flags all over the place, and he is swarmed under at the 13-yard line.
Wow, that looked like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day
return,
parade.
Holding, receiving team number 69. Half distance to the goal. First down.
So they're marching back, and coming up with a Sprint halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher, plus special guest, Texans All-Pro running back Arian Foster for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 11. That's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
I said it looked like the parade on Thanksgiving Day because there was so much stuff falling from the sky. There's like 6 flags. 6 of the 7 officials threw a flag on that.
It was not a well-hidden violation. So Jacksonville will start from their own 7-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew lowers his shoulder out across the 10. Osama Young, the strong safety, made the stop after a pickup of 4.
I thought so. As the first play of the drive, you know they're going to turn around and give it to that guy right there and see what he can get. And of course, he gets a couple of positive yards, brings up a second and 7, and keeps his team on schedule. Let your young quarterback not have to think about anything except the next play. So many good things with a quality running back that you can just hand it to.
2nd and 6 for Jacksonville. The ball just past the 10-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew had a hole for a moment, but it closed pretty quickly. And he's out close to the 15-yard line. Mike Adams, who's back in the game, made the stop. A gain of 4.
This is the most American game played.
When we graduate, we'll be on the same team. But when we're on that field, we do not like each other.
They're there for a special reason. It's not just about the football.
A Game of Honor premieres December 21st, only on Showtime with a special behind-the-scenes look. December 3rd on CBS, the Army-Navy game, an American tradition. And it's a documentary not to be missed.
Well, we've had an extended preview of it, not that we saw the whole thing, but it's one of those programs that really changes your perspective about a lot of things.
My father and both of my grandfathers were in the military, and my dad, for my 9th birthday, took me to the Army-Navy game, and it was an experience that I will never forget. 3rd and 2 for Jacksonville. Gabbert will throw. Jason Hill with the first down.
And that's a play that helps out the quarterback because that ball was behind Hill. He went back and got it. And Cleveland is going to take a timeout right now. But watch, and this is what really helps a young quarterback. See this? Now look, he had to stop, plant, and go back and get that football. Those kind of catches are the ones the Browns haven't made yet for Colt McCoy. And Blaine Gabbert's getting a little more help from his wide receivers when that throw is just not quite perfect.
Look at the numbers. These 2 young quarterbacks, Colt McCoy in his 2nd season, Gabbert the rookie. Jason Hill, by the way, was originally a 3rd-round pick by the 49ers in 2007. Was signed by Jacksonville last November. The running backs, Maurice Jones-Drew, looking for his 3rd Pro Bowl appearance. And then Jason Hill and Greg Little, the rookie from North Carolina. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. Mojo just churning those legs. Gets it out to the 29-yard line. Big Phil Taylor, the rookie, made the stop, a pickup of 6.
We got that offensive line working up ahead of Maurice Jones-Drew. Will Rackley pulling around, opening it up. Continue to grind it away.
That takes us, Steve, to the 2-minute warning. Here in Cleveland, we're tied at 7. Jacksonville with 2 minutes and 2 timeouts remaining. 2nd and 4 from their own 29-yard line. Gabbert from the shotgun. Brown showing blitz. Here they come. Jones drew out close to the first down.
And this is a sign that at some point in his career, I think Jacksonville would love to have the kind of quarterback in Blaine Gabbert that can spread it out and try and score in a situation like this. But I think right now they're content. I mean, they may give him a couple of throws and may give him the opportunity, but right now with Maurice Jones-Drew in the game, he's still the focal point, not the quarterback.
Mojo got the first down with a pickup of 5. Gabbert checks it down. And Maurice Jones-Drew brought down almost immediately after a pickup of 4.
And I think it's conservative play calling, no question. 30 seconds and counting, or a minute, 30 seconds on the play clock, a minute in the game.
Play action. Gabbert slings it. That's caught by Dillard. And Dillard is into Cleveland territory.
Now that changes things, and Jack Del Rio runs down, calls the timeout for Jacksonville with a minute left, and you complete that pass. That changes things. There's no question they were conservative on the first few plays of that drive, although Gabbert did make a couple of throws. But now with that completion, things change. They're thinking at least a field goal with another first down.
And you saw Josh Scobie warming up on the sidelines. He's been great from 50 plus, 5 of 5 this season, and we watched him during the pregame and was nailing field goals from 60 yards comfortably.
Yeah, you and I were down on the field watching them, and they were hitting it pretty good both directions in this stadium today.
57 seconds left in the half. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line of Cleveland. Set up the screen. Flag is down on the play. Jason Hill, and he's out to the 35-yard line, but let's check the penalty.
It's going to be another penalty for an illegal man down the field.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty. First down.
They call it on Meester, the veteran at center.
Yeah, the Browns smelled this screen out. They tried to go both directions. Watch Ataba Rubin right here. He knows number 71. See, he sees the screen, doesn't know where it is yet, but he knew something was up when he got through the offensive line of scrimmage that quickly.
So from the 48-yard line, Gabbert has to just get rid of it. Dimitri Patterson had the pressure coming on the corner blitz. Well, coming up with the Sprint halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower, plus special guest Texans All-Pro running back Arian Foster for the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's coming up from New York on the Sprint halftime report.
You see there, Pat Shermer says, who is he throwing it to? He threw that to avoid a sack, and he was in the tackle box. There's no question Gabbert was behind the line of scrimmage, or inside the tackle box, but he did throw it in the vicinity.
46 ticks left. Gabbert steps up. Caught by Maurice Jones-Drew. And he dives forward to the 40, a gain of 8. Scott Paxson made the stop. Trying to get at least inside of that man's range.
It looks like that's what this half is going to boil down to.
Incomplete. Intended for Mercedes Lewis.
That's strange, because every time Gabbert seems to throw to Lewis, the ball seems to be on the ground. Very low throw. Mercedes Lewis has to make a difficult catch. Not an impossible catch, but a difficult catch. Now, this was not a good throw. It was low out in front of him. I mean, look at that. He can't get there. And it seems as though every time they target Lewis, that's the case. They need another 5 yards to make this a really easy field goal attempt. And now it's 4th and 6, it's 4th and 7. They're going to have to go for it with Gabbert staying in the game.
And now the Jaguars are going to take a timeout.
And you talk about Josh Scobie, there you go. Both these guys are very good in 50-plus yard field goals. They're hard, but this is not just a 50-plus. This is a 57 that he'd try here. Maybe a 58, depending on how far back he puts the snap. As Scobie comes on, he's going to give it a shot. Now, you said it. They were hitting kicks of this nature in pregame, but that was with a kicking ball that they've been kicking on that was all soft, and there wasn't a crowd watching and guys trying to hit him either, so that makes a big difference.
Scobie had made 15 straight field goals before he finally missed one last week against the Colts. That one was inside of 50 yards.
Now we've got an official conference, and they're going to go over to the review station. We have not been told of anything yet, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Terry McCauley, our referee today.
I don't know why they would look at the only play they can review in there is the last play, the incompletion to Mercedes Lewis. And it is inside 2 minutes, so this came from upstairs, obviously. Here's the play. Oh, I see. Did that ball hit the ground when Lewis reached down for it? It looked like he might have had his arm underneath it, and it turned into an interception. And that's a pretty good catch by the replay official, because I thought the ball hit when Mercedes Lewis tried to catch it. Sheldon Brown comes up with it. Keep your eye on this ball if it hits the ground right there, and I thought it did. But there's Sheldon Brown, and he picks that ball up.
The ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass. 4th down.
Well, I can see why they reviewed it now.
It was closer than it first appeared. Meanwhile, they've made a change. Scobie has gone off the field, and they brought out the punter, Nick Harris. With 15 seconds left in the half.
Browns have Young about 15 yards deep. Nobody is back to return this punt.
They'll just let it go. And it will be down. Oh, goodness. You know, how often do you see that? Look like they, not that it matters, but down it inside the 5. Instead, it goes into the end zone for a touchback.
I did this for a living for a long time, and that just disgusts me. It's not rocket science. And inside the 5 is great. And you got to know you're not playing in a vacuum. Those guys are on the same team. Just talk to each other. And that is an enormously bad play by the punt team. It's not going to cost them anything, but still, if you're going to do it right. Goodness gracious.
So that's going to be the end of the first half. We're tied at 7, and we'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. And we are back in Cleveland, a defensive battle so far. Bill McAtee with Steve Tasker. We thought these teams were evenly matched. Both have gotten in the end zone once.
Yeah, and both young quarterbacks in their development look pretty good. They're making good decisions. The ball's coming out on time. They could still use some help from that wide receiving core on both sides, though.
All right, let's take a look now at our mobile recap presented by Verizon. The touchdown run by Chris Ogbonnaya. Great blocks by Marisic and Pinkston. And that tied us up at 7 apiece. Ogbonnaya, who's only been with the Browns for the last 5 weeks. And let's take a look at the numbers from the first half, Steve.
Yeah, you see there, rush yards are really a big difference for Jacksonville with 64, but the Browns only getting 22 yards with Ogbonnaya carrying most of the load. And the passing yards, though, making up for that. So these are two evenly matched teams. You know, the Jacksonville Jaguars got nipped with a couple extra penalties, but you know, this game may come down to the big play happening against one or the other, or the way these 2 seasons have gone, it could be the big mistake that cost one of the teams the game.
Jacksonville won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so they'll have the football to start the third quarter. One of the areas where the Browns really have improved is on defense. A year ago, they were 22nd in the league. They came in ranked 6th today and 1st against the pass. The Jaguars came in with the defense ranked 4th in the league. Deji Kareem takes a knee 5 yards deep in the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20.
You look here at the possessions that these 2 teams have had, or the Jacksonville has had. Punt, TD, punt, punt. But they are getting some good production offensively. That's what you look at. If you can hang on to the football, do what you want offensively, it really helps you develop. And this is a team that, you know, is trying to get a young quarterback to play well, and they're really playing well around him. I think Jack Del Rio's got to like the way that first half went.
1st and 10 for Jacksonville, just underway in the 3rd here in Cleveland. They're going to throw it. Thomas was the intended receiver on the slant, and that was behind him and over his head.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a very good throw. He got rid of that. Had max protection, only 2 guys in a route. You see throwing that out, all 5 offensive linemen, the tight end, and both backs, and that wasn't even close.
Jacksonville played the toughest schedule in the NFL through the first 10 weeks of the season. Now trying to win their 3rd in the last 4 games and start a run here in the second half. They've gotten to the hardest part of their schedule. I feel like they're still alive for the postseason. They certainly are technically.
Jacksonville, everything changed a little bit in the South a couple of times this year. One, when Peyton Manning didn't show up for work. And then, when Matt Schaub went down with an injury last week, every other team in the AFC South said, hey, wait a minute, we're still in this, and that includes the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville has already played the Saints, the Ravens, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. And if they can get the passing game going, they can give themselves a shot. And against a tough Cleveland defense today. 3rd and 7. Incomplete. And they'll have to punt. Lewis, the intended receiver, and now a flag is down.
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was well defended.
At the 44-yard line.
If Gabbert threw that in there, that was a tough throw to
pass.
make.
Holding. Defense number 28. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
They call it on Osama Young, who's playing for T.J. Ward at strong safety.
Working against Mercedes Lewis, and he grabs it. That's a little soft. That should have been a non-call in my opinion.
So 1st down for Jacksonville. 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line. Greg Jones, the fullback, is in motion.
Gabbert, flip it to Maurice Jones-Drew, just a misdirection, and for a guy like Drew, you know, that's the kind of space that you want to get him into. Get him a chance to use his wheels. You know he can break at least 1 tackle at the end of a run or drag a guy. Nice first down run that gets a first down.
Now Deji Kareem is checked in. The deep back in the offset eye. Fake it to him, fake the reverse. Gabbert, center of the field, incomplete. And he just threw that up. Jason Hill was the intended receiver.
Well, he had Jamie Mitchell right in his face, and he threw this one falling backwards. Watch. He'll throw it and just like leave. I mean, he throws it and starts to fall away halfway through his throwing motion. That's why that ball was not close to anybody. As soon as his arm started forward, his body started backward. He was getting out of the way of Jamie Mitchell.
Jamie Mitchell back after dressing but not playing last week against St. Louis. Kareem. Just a great play by DeQuell Jackson, who is having an outstanding season, finally healthy. He's 5th in the league in tackles. He's recovered 2 fumbles, forced another, has 2.5 sacks. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Month back in September.
Look, he just takes one hesitation, runs right to the football. You talk to the guys on that defense. We talked to Scott Fujita, and he singled out DeQuell Jackson. Pat Shurmur singled out DeQuell Jackson. Everybody we spoke to talked about what this guy means, not just in the way he plays like he just did, but what he means in the locker room and his personality.
3rd and 11. They have to get it to the Cleveland 48-yard line for a first down. Gabbert, and that should have been picked off. Joe Hayden had it in his hands and could not bring it in. Thomas, the intended receiver.
Well, for wide receivers in this game, the defensive backs in this game are pretty good, and it's hard to get separation. And these guys, these defensive backs, are starting to get a feel for the passing game of their opponent. Joe Hayden jumps in on this, sloughs off the outside route, and should have had that ball. Look for both defenses to start taking chances of that nature.
Hayden had 6 interceptions a year ago, still looking for his first. So they'll spot it at about the 25-yard line when we come back, tied at 7.
Covered kicks for a long time and returned them as well. They spot this ball at the Cleveland 25. The ball never reaches the 25. It's the 27. And they got the official that makes that call is all the way down at the goal line. I think they need to revamp their responsibilities on punt return in the NFL.
So they do begin at the 25. Colt McCoy, deep out route. That's caught by Little. Tough, physical receiver. He can make plays in traffic, but he has the speed to take it deep. First half possessions for Cleveland. 3 punts, and a touchdown.
This was a kneel down.
Pickup of 16 yards on the reception by Greg Little. From just past the 40. And a flag.
I'll start.
Whistle before the snap.
89. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah. Evan Moore, the tight end to the near side, flinched. And, you know, in the open, we said one of the keys to this game was that Cleveland had to clean up their act. And thus far, it hasn't been too bad. I've had some drop passes and such, but the penalties haven't been a problem. Pat Shurmur, one of the most even-keeled head coaches you'll ever run across.
So first and 15 for the Browns. McCoy. And there's the flag. Norwood had a step.
Yeah, he got
Pass
tangled up.
interference. Defense number 30.
They call it on Drew
Automatic
Coleman.
first down.
Feet got tangled up, and the receiver went down, and that usually will draw the penalty.
Well, Coleman's one of the free agents that the Jacksonville Jaguars brought in to help this defense, and he has, but I think they just get tied up.
I'm not sure there was any contact there.
There was no contact except the fact that he might have clipped his heel while he was looking for the football. I think that's a bad call.
So first and 10 from the Jacksonville 37-yard line. McCoy will throw again. Now he's taken off and brought down at the 31. Nice bit of scrambling from the young man from the University of Texas. That was good for 6 yards. C.J. Mosley brought him down.
That was a good scramble by McCoy. Now, he's not an oversized guy. He's just a hair over 6 foot or so, but he runs very well. And I think you rate this scramble as pretty good, not good enough, because he takes a pretty good shot at the end of it. You'd like him to get down without taking it.
Came in with 120 yards rushing, 13 first downs. Obanaya. About a yard short of the first down. William Middleton made the stop. Moved in as the starter at cornerback this week with Rasheem Mathis gone for the rest of the season. Middleton originally a 5th-round pick by Atlanta back in 2009.
I think that was a good play by Obanaya. Jacksonville blitzed right into the teeth of that run. Obanaya made him miss in the backfield and got some positive yards out of a run that shouldn't have done it.
At the power I formation. Obanaya, nice little move. And a first down for Cleveland. Derek Cox made the stop, a pickup of 6.
That's a great run by Obanaya. He kept his head up and watched. The play was designed to go to the left side. He'll plant and go back across the grain to the open area. Great job. You see there the plant and the move right for the first down. Great job being patient, taking what was given to him, because Jacksonville was all over the point of attack, and Obanaya made it work.
The Browns on the move. First and 10 from the Jacksonville 23-yard line. Here they come on the blitz. McCoy rolling out, and he's going to run with it out of bounds at the 20. And that was good for 3 yards.
And both teams have gotten a little help from their quarterbacks on scrambling and doing some nice things outside the pocket, but they have not been able to make a big play. So many times in the NFL, when your quarterback breaks contain, everything comes apart in the secondary with those guys trying to cover, because it's just too long for a defender to cover, but not yet. The quarterbacks cannot find a receiver working to get open in the secondary when they extend the play.
Second down, left side. Obadiah powering his way down to the 16-yard line. Pick up a 4. Mincy made the stop.
And this is a really very solid drive for Cleveland. And that's been the story for both clubs. When they've put together scoring drives, there haven't been big plays. The biggest play on this drive was the opening play of 16 yards on the pass completion. Everything else has been 4 or 5 yards plus a tough third down conversion. This is a very solid drive.
3rd and 3 for the Browns. McCoy under pressure, and he's sacked. Matt Roth, who spent all of last season and part of 2009 with Cleveland, combined to make the stop with Paul Posluszny and Colt McCoy slow getting up.
Now you'll watch, it looks like he's going to try and hang in there, and he does, but only after he starts to really have to burst and there's just no place to run. Posluszny falls on top of him. McCoy was slow to get up, but there was just no chance. The pocket collapsed too quickly.
A loss of 6. So Phil Dawson on to try a 40-yard field goal. He got it, but there's a marker down, and the preliminary signal is it's against Jacksonville.
Leaping, defense number 59.
Right, now the problem is you can leap, but you can't leap and land on another player. Right there, he came down. As he sees there, he's going to come down right here on top of Luavo. And that's the penalty, and that is an enormous penalty, obviously.
So they spot it at the 11-yard line, and a fresh set of downs for the Cleveland Browns. Halfway through the 3rd, and again an early whistle.
And another
False start, offense number 66. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Sean Laval, the right guard.
Right here, when he dives over, that's okay, but he can't come down on a player, and he does. And that, then you see the officials were standing there watching it, and when he came down, only after he landed did they reach for the flag.
Meanwhile, they moved the Browns back 5. So 1st and 15 from the 16-yard line. Obadiah cuts it back in. Down close to the 10-yard line. Clint Session, the linebacker, made the stop, a gain of 6.
Back to the original, a little past the original line of scrimmage, as you see there, Lockley. And he'll get an earful over that. And it was the right call, there's no question about it. You just can't do that. And Jack Del Rio, I mean, he looked like he got sick to his stomach real quick.
Jacksonville has been relatively penalty-free throughout the year. That has not been an issue for them. 2nd and 9. Browns trying to punch it in. McCoy has some running room. A flag is down back at the 20, and McCoy ridden out of bounds at the 4.
Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty.
They called
second
that
down.
on the Pro Bowl left tackle Joe Thomas.
And it was late after McCoy broke contain. Right here. And there you see, there you see it. He'll reach out, watch right there. That's where he's got him, and that's at the point where it was most important. As Mincy was trying to break out and go get him, that's when Joe Thomas grabbed him by his collar and wouldn't let him go.
Mincy coming off a monster game against the Colts with 2.5 sacks last Sunday. Leads Jacksonville with 4 for the season.
And that was a good call.
2nd and 19. Cleveland going the opposite direction. Check it down to Obadiah, and he's down to the 6-yard line. Buck Smith made the stop, and Session is slow getting up.
And this is a great check down as Obaniah comes through on the play fake and then just finds an area, turns around. It's exactly the kind of play Colt McCoy needed to make in that spot. It gets half of a second and very long back. Now it's a third and at least manageable. They can get a first down without a touchdown, but they're thinking 6 points right here.
Pickup of 14 yards. They spot it just outside of the 6-yard line. McCoy intercepted. DeJuan Landry. And he jumped the route.
McCoy didn't see him, and he threw it right into his chest.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart.
We're back. There's Colt McCoy being looked at on the sidelines after DeJuan Landry came away with the interception. So Jacksonville will start 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line. Remember, the Browns took points off the board. Maurice Jones-Drew stopped for a loss. They had a 40-yard field goal, and they decided to take the first down. That was the obvious call, but that could be a factor later. Let's take another look at the interception.
Well, you can see Landry just comes right in, steps right in front of the receiver. And as McCoy goes in, he throws his arm out to get the tackle and gets kicked right on the upper part of his arm. And he was in some pain coming off the field.
Colt McCoy's a tough guy. He has taken some shots this season. 2nd down. Lewis, and he hung on close to midfield. An 18-yard gain on the reception by Mercedes Lewis.
Well, we've been talking about Lewis trying to get involved in this offense, and Gabbert's been throwing the football low to him all day. This one's not low, but he goes up and gets it really high, and a great catch as he turns his whole body, goes up with 2 hands. That's textbook for the big tight end, showing you how to catch a ball high and by.
Play action, Gabbert, incomplete. Tried to hit Mike Thomas. Dimitri Patterson had the coverage.
Just not quite accurate enough on that one. Is out too far in front of Thomas. Watches this is out there. That's about as much separation as you're going to get. And it's just too far out. Once again, it's just one of those catches that's on the razor's edge of being a good catch and a not so good throw. But both ends of that ball, the quarterback wishes he'd thrown a little better, and the receiver thinks he should have caught it.
Extra yardage, and that's Montel Owens who has checked in the game.
And now, with Owens carrying the football, Cleveland is able to get him into a 3rd and 9, and they haven't been in very many of those. And you wonder, too, with Colt McCoy getting attended to on the sidelines, if the Jacksonville Jaguars have to punt right here, is McCoy going to be able to get back in the game?
Deji Kareem has checked back in. Gabbert from the shotgun. Being chased. Tried to throw it away, but Joe Hayden almost came down with it. Phil Taylor, the big man, was on the move and had the pressure.
Yeah, with Joe Hayden today, it's been like I kind of realized why he's been relegated to playing a good cornerback, because usually if guys can catch, they play offense. Joe Hayden has dropped 2 balls that he thinks probably he should have.
That would have been a heck of a catch.
Yeah, it would have been, but he's dropped 2 picks today.
Josh Cribbs back deep, waiting to Nick Harris punt. Good high punt. Cribbs calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 15-yard line. Colt McCoy banged up. .337 left in the third. Colt McCoy back out on the field. The Browns start 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line.
Hey, Alex.
Keep it on the ground. Obaniah has some running room and a 1st down for Cleveland. Pick up a 13 yards. DeJuan Landry, who had the interception, made the stop. But let's go back and take a look at the tackle that Colt McCoy made after the interception.
You'll see here he's going to lunge in with his right arm, and right there takes it. Now he went right off. He took him a little bit to get off the field, and they worked on him throughout that possession by Jacksonville, but he didn't throw a football, didn't try or test his shoulder at all.
McCoy with time stands in. Cribbs. And that's another 1st down for Cleveland. Pickup of 13 out to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and despite the injury, that was the first ball McCoy had thrown since the interception right there. Nice job by Cribbs squaring that off. Goes down to get the football. And that's a nice reception. Nice run by Obaniah. Nice catch by Cribbs to begin this drive.
The best numbers of his career on offense came in with 25 catches for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging 13.5 yards a catch. And again, McCoy on the move, and he's got some running room into Jacksonville territory, down to the 45-yard line. Kozlowski and Buck Smith made the stop after a gain of 15 yards.
This is a great job by McCoy. The first throw wasn't there. He came back to the left, was gonna throw it. You can tell it crossed his mind to try and throw it right here, but then decides to tuck it very early, gets the 1st down, dodges the big hit from Kozlowski, and gets the 1st. That's why, well, maybe he didn't dodge it so good.
And you have to like the way this young man has come back after throwing the interception. 36-yard line, Derek Cox brought him down.
You know, we spoke in the open about Obaniah being here now for a few weeks and starting to feel more comfortable, and there's no question it takes a while to get comfortable, even in the locker room and your living quarters where you're going to live away from the field. He had a lot of things to take care of. Probably only now, as you see the 2 guys he's replacing, is he starting to feel a little bit comfortable in the offense.
2nd and 1. McCoy again gets his little shovel pass to the 33-yard line. Marisic, the ball was on the ground. Cleveland says they still have it.
Now there hasn't been
no signal, and there it is.
There you go.
1st down Browns.
They gave the Browns the 1st down, and you can tell by his reaction, Clint Session believes this should be the Jacksonville Jaguars ball. It's a great hit. Ball comes loose. Oh, see, there he gets it late. Now this will be the better angle. Yeah, his knee's down. Yeah, he doesn't.
Thomas Clayton in the ball game at running back, and he gets it inside the 30. A gain of 5, and that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. We're still tied at 7, and we'll return to Cleveland after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Been entertaining between these 2 teams. A lot to talk about. Jacksonville and Cleveland. And the Browns trying to put together a drive. 2nd down from the Jacksonville 30-yard line. Here they come on the blitz. McCoy gets rid of it. Little, the rookie, with the catch. looking for more yards and finally falls forward inside the 20, close to the 19. Mincy made the stop after a pickup of 11.
Well, good job by Little. Great job by McCoy getting rid of this with Matt Roth breathing into his face mask. Gets rid of it. Little does a nice job pivoting out, making the nice catch, and then there's one thing about a young player.
The former Brown who came in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Obadiah brought down hard at the 17-yard line. And tomorrow, on an all-new Dave from CBS News, Gayle King. And later this week, Justin Bieber, followed by The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, only CBS.
You know, Paul Posluszny made a big hit on that last run. And there you see.
Ninth play of the drive upcoming. 42 of those yards on the ground. Short drop from McCoy. Has his man, Marisic, the fullback, and he's inside the 10. It'll be first and goal for Cleveland.
Well, it's a rub play on the outside at the top of the screen. You'll see the outside receiver come in, and Rub actually throws a block on Clint Sessions to spring Marisic. Watch as he throws the block right there. That is an out-and-out pick, a block almost that they got away with. Not supposed to be able to do that with the ball in the air.
Marisic, the rookie out of Stanford, a fourth-round pick. So first and goal for Cleveland. Obadiah down to the 3-yard line.
There's any question that Obadiah is playing better this week than he has since he's been here. Much more comfortable. We spoke to him on Friday, and you can see it in his play and the way the offense runs. Oops, got a couple of guys going down. Marisic's a little woozy, and so is Clint Sessions. He stayed down for a moment. Marisic being helped off, as is Sessions. Don't know if they bumped into each other or if it was other collisions that did it.
Take a look at the comparison between these two running backs, and you're right, Obadiah has played well.
He's matched him.
61 yards on 17 carries. Slightly more from Maurice Jones-Drew, but all in all, the Cleveland defense has done a good job against Mojo. Second and goal. Browns are threatening. We're tied at 7. 12 and a half minutes left to play. They spread him out. Obadiah is in the backfield with McCoy. To the end zone. Incomplete. Ben Watson went up after it. Lowry had tight coverage.
As well defended by Lowry. Watson does a nice job. He's going to get out. This is the route. Goes up, and wow, what a great job. Lowry obviously undersized compared to the tight end. Still gets the vertical jump to go up and get his hand in.
Watson, an outstanding receiver and a blocker. He came in with 28 catches for 333 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was Cleveland's leading receiver last season. So third and goal for the Browns. From the 3, McCoy guns it. Caught. Cribbs. Touchdown, Cleveland.
Well, McCoy delivered exactly the kind of throw that play called for. That's always the way it is. When you roll out to that side, the receivers all run their routes, and then somebody, in this case Cribbs, always breaks hard to the pylon, and the quarterback guns it. Low and away, perfect throw, great catch by Cribbs. You can see that gets both feet, boom, right there together. The pogo stick hopped right out of bounds.
Tremendous body control and awareness. His 4th touchdown catch of the season. Dawson on to try the extra point. He boots it through, and it is a 7-point Cleveland lead with 12:15 left to play. McCoy to Cribbs. Touchdown, Browns. Josh Cribbs, after the touchdown catch, right back out on the field to play with the kickoff team.
He's a tremendous athlete and a guy who really makes a difference, puts a lot of pressure on himself to make a difference whenever he's on the field.
He said, I want to be out there. I like doing this. Kareem, as the ball sails out of the end zone, they'll bring it out to the 20. And the Jaguars will go to work down by 7 here in Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Miller Lite Home Draft. Taste greatness. And by Viagra.
Tremendous drive by the Cleveland Browns as they go 85 yards in 12 plays. Cribbs with the touchdown reception. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville from their own 20-yard line. Gabbert out to Maurice Jones-Drew. Cuts it back inside and down to the 29-yard line.
Those two
Session
guys
going into the locker room, and so is Matt Roth.
And they're both out of this game.
Owen Marisic, who collided with Clint Session, also out with a head injury. Jacksonville leading the NFL with 15 players on IR. They've been devastated by injuries. 2nd and 1, Maurice Jones-Drew has the first down with a couple to spare. Jacksonville trying to respond to the Cleveland Browns touchdown.
You see there, guys getting fixed up on the
Greg Little on the sidelines. That's the rookie wide receiver. 2nd-round pick out of North Carolina, who's really come on since moving into the starting lineup in week 6.
The last catch he made in the last drive really kept it alive.
1st and 10 for Jacksonville from their own 32-yard line. They run the screen. Mercedes Lewis. And he's tripped up at the 35-yard line. Scott Fujita made the stop. And Tuesday on CBS, Hoppy Montgomery and Dylan Walsh star in TV's #1 new show, Unforgettable. An all-new episode Tuesday, only CBS. 2nd and 7 after the 3-yard pickup. Jacksonville trails by a touchdown. Gabbert slings it. Again, almost intercepted. And that time it was Sheldon Brown who couldn't get the handle.
Yeah, Mike Thomas stopped running at the top of his route right here. Watch as he starts to make this turn. Brown is going to get there, and Mike Thomas just stops. And Gabbert has already let that go, and Gabbert glared Mike Thomas down when he stopped running that route. After he let that ball go, and it almost turned into an interception, Gabbert gave him the daggers as he was coming back to the huddle. You'd never leave your quarterback hanging out to dry at the top of the route.
And they spread him out. Maurice Jones-Drew trots back. Gabbert in the pocket, fires it, caught. Jason Hill into Cleveland territory and all the way down to the 37-yard line.
And that was a strike from Gabbert. The deep end, watch at the top of the screen. Hill going to take the outside release, gives the outside move. Tremendous separation on Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden, we said earlier these DBs are going to start gambling. Hayden tried to jump that route and jumped the wrong way at the top. Great route.
28 yards on 3rd and 7, and he had Joe Hayden completely fooled. Deji Kareem is in the backfield. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. Fighting his way close to the 35-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew getting a breather.
Yeah, still standing there. He's not coming in now either for a play or two. I'll tell you, if they do not get a first down here on 2nd and 8, he'll be in the game on 3rd down.
18 carries, 76 yards. Montel Owens has checked in at running back.
And the reason they keep him on the sidelines at times is just to make sure that he's ready to go in crucial downs and in crucial situations, but it means he also has to take rest at crucial times.
2nd down, play action. Gabbert to the sideline. And they are really starting to get Mercedes Lewis into the offense.
And it's easy, too, when you throw the guy. Mercedes Lewis, for those people who don't know, is like, well, when you stand next to him, you'd swear he's 9 feet tall, but he's like 6'6", and he's a huge physical specimen. And early in the game, Gabbert was throwing the ball, and they ended up at his feet. You get this ball up above his numbers, and that guy can catch it. And it's, I mean, in front of him and behind him, past him, he can reach out and grab it. And I think he does much better when Gabbert gets that ball high.
And shift back into the shotgun. Lewis has had a disappointing season so far after catching 10 touchdowns a year ago. Still looking for his first this year. And that is caught at the 20-yard line. Another nice pickup for the Jacksonville Jaguars and a dart to Chaston West.
Yeah, and that first down gives Mojo the chance to stay on the sidelines and stay fresh. And he has not been injured, or that we know of. This is strictly a chance to keep him fresh on this drive, particularly when it's moving well.
Owens in the game after the pickup of 5. Gabbert 17 of 29 for 171. 2nd down. Owens. And he has another Jacksonville first down. Close to the 10-yard line. That was good for 8.
Right about there, you thought, well, maybe it's not a good idea. Then Owens makes something out of it. If you're Maurice Jones-Drew, it's like I'll sit on the sidelines and let you take those 2 good shots while I come back in. Yeah.
Mojo is back in.
Now they're in the red area. Now put Mojo back in. He can run down in this area of the football field.
That was a pretty good shot from DeQuell Jackson. 1st and 10, just outside the 10-yard line to the end zone. And Jason Hill was all alone, but Gabbert couldn't deliver the football.
Well, he was being guarded by Brown, and Brown fell down. And it ended up, Gabbert threw the, you see there, how open can you possibly be? And Gabbert had already let this football go. If he waits a half a second, he throws that in for a touchdown like they're throwing against nobody.
2nd and 10. Dick Duran, the Browns defensive coordinator. Browns lead by 7. Maurice Jones-Drew cuts it back, lowers his shoulder. Down to the 8-yard line. Jackson with the stop.
This is the part where point of the field is so crucial. This has been a very short game with 6:27 and counting. You're not going to get the ball back that many more times if you're Jacksonville. You've got to punch it in right here because your defense has not shown the ability in this second half to stop this Browns offense. You know they're going to be able to move the football and at least punt you deep into your own end.
3rd and 7. They can still get a first down if they get it down to the 1-yard line. Gabbert. Brought down from behind, and he threw it out of bounds. That's going to be a lateral.
Yeah,
they're going to spot it at the 24-yard line.
The ball was thrown back out of bounds. 4th down.
All kinds of pressure. And that's what they do.
And what happens to a quarterback? He's going to move out to his left, but he can't sense how close Mitchell is. Oh, not Mitchell, excuse me, that's Sheard. And he just throws it and it goes backwards. And that's like pitching the ball backwards. That's a live football when the quarterback throws it backwards and they spot it where it goes out of bounds.
And he's really lucky there wasn't a Cleveland Brown there to scoop it up. Meanwhile, the field goal try is through from 42 yards. Josh Scobie, 3 points on the board for Jacksonville, 14-10. 5:39 left to go. Browns will get the football with a 4-point lead, 14-10, after the Josh Scobie field goal. Boots it away. Cribbs lowers his shoulder and gets it out to the 20-yard line. Colt McCoy back to work when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by K Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with K. The Philips Norelco Senso Touch 3D, a great shave, dry or wet with gel or foam. And by the Droid Razor, thin is no longer frail, only at Verizon.
The Santa hats making an early appearance here in Cleveland. See, an early gift would be a victory here against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 14-10 Cleveland, 5.5 minutes left to play. McCoy short to Little and pushed out of bounds at the 26-yard line by Darryl Smith. That was good for 6 yards. You look at the Browns, and they have a lot of things in place. They have a franchise left tackle, good young receiver in Greg Little, a quarterback who has won at every level and fights for every yard, a young shutdown corner in Joe Hayden, a great middle linebacker out there making plays. They got stout young guys up front, and Ruben and Phil Taylor, some smart football people in the front office. The future could be good for the Cleveland Browns, and that's Obaniah with some running room. Chris Obaniah up the sidelines and out of bounds after a big gain for the Cleveland Browns.
And he pulls up lame right there. Does Obaniah. He pulled a hamstring, and that's not good. But watch as it's blocked so well right at the point of attack, as you see Alex Mack get right out in front of him, and he cuts in right behind there as Joe Thomas is all the way down the football field pushing guys around. You can't work any better than that as an offensive line up front in the running game as Obaniah gets around the corner and then pulls up lame at the time. You see there, he says he's okay. We'll see if he can get back in.
A gain of 40 yards, and Thomas Clayton has checked in now for Cleveland. That is caught, and somehow Mohamed Massaquoi held on to the football. He got pounded.
That was two guys that gave him a big shot. It was Ashton Yabodi and Dwight Lowry who converged on him just as he made this catch, and man, oh man.
But he hung onto the football, a gain of 6.
He's just back into the lineup after suffering a concussion, and it took him a while to get back. But if you can stand a hit like that, things are looking up for you.
Obaniah is checked back in. He's waited a long time for this chance. Another big hole. Obaniah. And a flag is down as Obaniah is brought down inside the 20. Derek Cox made the tackle. And the penalty flag came from the secondary.
Yeah, and you can see Josh Cribbs thinks it's on. They called it on him, and he's not happy about it. They're going to call a hold at the end of the run.
There's no foul for an illegal block in the back. First down.
And they picked it up. And I think they conversed about it. The officials, and one guy said, no, I don't think he touched him. The defensive back went forward, and sometimes an official will think his momentum was caused by a push in the back. And Jack Del Rio says, well, basically what he's saying is, why'd you throw the flag if there wasn't a penalty? Right here is where it is. Now, does Cox get pushed in the back by Cribbs, or does he just go down on his own? Yeah, he did. That's right. That's a good pickup call. That's a good non-call by the officials.
Obaniah over 100 yards, 19 carries for 110. They give it to him again. And he's down to the 17-yard line. Mincy made the stop. Cleveland's last 100-yard rusher came in Week 14 last season. It was Peyton Hillis, who had 108 against the Bills coming into today.
back in. He told us he is not going to waste this opportunity. So he, I think, is trying to fight through that pain. But then he broke another good run to the outside. And every time you try and open it up with a sore hamstring, you feel like you're going to pull it.
2nd and 7. Short drop. McCoy just swarmed under. Brought down back at the 22-yard line, and Jacksonville will take a timeout with 3 minutes left to play. Tyson Alu and Russell Allen combined to make the stop. Back in Cleveland, and tomorrow on CBS, it's a Hawaii 5-0 everyone will be talking about. Jimmy Buffett guest stars on an all-new episode tomorrow, only CBS. So the Browns facing a 3rd and 14. Have to get it to the 9-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, this is their quarter, 60-36 in fourth quarter scoring this season.
A field goal makes it a 7-point game. Benaya on the delay and is brought down at the 20. Alu made the stop. Another timeout, 2:53 left to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Toyota. And by Subway. Try November's featured $5 footlong chicken marinara melt.
Chris Obanaya has been the workhorse today for Cleveland. 21 carries, 116 yards, and now Phil Dawson wanted to try to make it a 7-point ball game. From 38 yards out. No good. Wide to the right.
Phil Dawson doesn't believe it.
Dawson said, "What are you talking about?"
To be no good, if it goes over the top in any way, shape, or form, that's a good kick. And watch here, the inside edge of the ball has to be outside the outside edge of the pipe. It has to miss the pipe completely to be no good.
So this gives us a better angle.
And the official is standing right underneath that pipe. And boy, that looks close, but the official right there says no. And if the ball, any part of the ball, well, that's good. If it goes over the top of the pipe, it's good. Well, I don't know. If he's standing there, so.
The play is not reviewable as the ball passed above the top of the upright. The field goal is no good. First down, Jacksonville.
And that's right. If it goes below the upright, of course, they can review it and look at it. But if it goes above it, it's strictly a judgment call. And what happens is the inside edge of the ball, like I said, the inside edge of the ball has to be outside this edge. And if the ball curves and goes outside, then it's no good. If any part of that leather on that football is inside the outside edge of that pipe, it's a good kick.
So it remains a 4-point game. Just under 3 minutes remaining. That's caught by Thomas. Close to a first down.
And of course, the only thing that changes for Jacksonville is that if they can score the touchdown, they won't just tie. They'll win. And man, I'll tell you what, that's a tough no good kick right there.
Jacksonville up in a hurry. 2nd and 1. Maurice Jones-Drew brought down just short of the 45-yard line again by Jackson. Remember, Dawson had 4 field goals last week against the Rams, but he missed the game winner from 22 yards out.
That's going to take us to the 2-minute warning unless Gabbert makes a very quick snap right here, and they're not going to do it.
So we've reached the 2-minute warning here in Cleveland. Browns nursing a 4-point lead, 14-10. We mentioned last week the Browns trailed the Rams by 1, just over 2 minutes left. 22-yard field goal attempt. The snap went off Alex Mack's foot, bounced to Brad Maynard, And Phil Dawson's timing was disrupted, and it was wide left. And he just missed a couple of moments ago, so it remains a 14-10 ball game. Gabbert, and that is caught for a first down for Jacksonville by Mercedes Lewis, who made the tough grab.
And I'll just go back to that kick that we just saw a moment ago by Phil Dawson. I thought it was good. And obviously I'm with the camera angle and the angle that gives me, and the official standing right underneath the pipe, but I thought that kick was good.
Play action. Gabbert trying to go deep. Gets rid of it and throws it away. 1:31 left to play. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Jacksonville.
I'm thinking he's saying that kick was good. I don't think that's exactly what he was thinking.
May not be a direct
I think he was
quote.
thinking something with a little more emphasis.
Gabbert. Great protection. Out into the flat, and that's caught again by Lewis.
Well, Mercedes Lewis has been a non-entity in this offense for a long time this season. He's disappeared for stretches. But today, there's been some times when he's really come through. And once again, Gabbert gets that ball up above, up and high in his body, and he can really catch it well.
7 catches, 63 yards for the Pro Bowl tight end.
That's the kind of day they need him to have every week.
3rd and 4. They have to get into the end zone. A field goal won't do it. 4-down territory for Jacksonville. Gabbert, and it will all depend on his forward progress. Jared Dillard made the catch.
Yeah, they're going to mark him a yard short as his progress was out to the 34-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take a quick snap.
Jaguars have
there we go.
Timeout remaining. Let's see if they were drawn offsides or they jumped offsides.
They all agree, and this is on the Browns.
Encroachment, defense number 98. 5-yard penalty, first down.
They call it on the rookie, Phil Taylor.
You can't take those kind of chances down inside because the officials may not see it, even if you don't see anything. And there was a slight waiver down inside, but that's not enough.
1:06 left to play. Gabbert, incomplete. Thomas, the intended receiver, is thrown well behind him. And have some miscommunication.
Yeah, Gabbert's not happy with the way that route developed down the field, and he's letting his guys know about it. And I'll tell you what, I like it. As a quarterback, you've got to direct traffic out there, and those guys have to know what you want from them. And just like anything, you got to correct them right when they do it. Next time they'll remember.
Tough physical game. 2nd and 10. A minute left. Incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down.
And that was a bad throw.
Tried to hit Mercedes Lewis again, but Scott Fujita was with him stride for stride.
Yeah, Fujita, I think that ball hit Fujita as it was coming down.
And they've come alive here in Cleveland.
This has been a very close game the entire way through, and it's coming down to this one final series to decide who's going to win it.
4-down territory, 3rd and 10. Gabbert again, great protection, incomplete. And a flag. Jason Hill was the intended receiver, and Joe Hayden may have got a hand in there early.
Yeah, he twisted it around.
Defense number 23. Automatic first down.
Hayden reached with his left hand and pulled with his right hand and watches the receiver. Hill's going to go over on this crossing route and make this catch. And as he goes up, Hayden's going to spin him around and pull his hip down. And that's why that's interference, and it's a call you're going to get called on you every time as a defensive back. And Hayden didn't have to do it. He got a piece of that football. But he just didn't have enough confidence that he was going to make that play.
52 seconds left. Jacksonville with 1 timeout remaining. Gabbert Protection finally breaks down. He throws it away. 46 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Manuel Stevens put the heat on him. Came over from waivers from Atlanta this year.
And coming up, time permitting, after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Verizon. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 11. Second and 10. That's caught. Justin West out of bounds just inside the 5-yard line. Sheldon Brown pushed him out. A pickup of 9, and that quiets the crowd.
You've got to take that. If the defender's going to play off like that, run the out and take it. Good confident throw from Gabbert.
Justin West signed earlier this season from the Packers practice squad. Had 3 catches last week against the Colts. So 3rd and 1. Maurice Jones-Drew just powering his way forward and a first down.
What incredible strength by Maurice Jones-Drew. Look as he stopped there and he just backs in and just pulls everybody, offensive line, defensive line, all together with him for the first down.
1 timeout left, clock running inside of 15 seconds. Maurice Jones-Drew stops short of the goal line. And Jacksonville will have to use their final timeout.
Well, there it is. 8 seconds left, 4th quarter. You're leading by 4. Defensively, it's 2nd down and goal on the 2-yard line. Dick Geron's got to come up with a defensive call that will give his guys a chance and then anticipate. Do they give it to Maurice Jones-Drew again, or do they let Blaine Gabbert try and throw it with just 8 seconds left? That will give them enough time to line up again if it's incomplete and give them a 3rd chance at it.
I think you have to throw it.
I think you do as well. I think you do as well. You have to throw this football because with 8, and I think you need to do it in a way that gets the ball out of Blaine Gabbert's hands very quickly. If you come up short on the run, you may not get another snap off.
Power I formation, 8 seconds left. And they will throw. Gabbert, incomplete! 3 seconds left. Jason Hill had a touchdown.
Here it is, and this is what everybody who's watching this game is rooting for as you watch this last incompletion. 3 seconds left on the clock. You gotta have a touchdown to win. You got one of the great backs in the NFL standing beside your quarterback. What are you gonna do? I say give it to 32 and let him pick his spot.
Time for one more play. And here it is. Gabbert, incomplete. The Browns win. What a finish.
You gotta give it to Maurice Jones-Drew. He's run so well, they've had no answer. He's so strong, you have 2 yards to get. He's the best player on the field, and you don't give him the football.
There he is, running out into the flat, and that's what he was saying. I was all alone. Mike Thomas was the intended receiver, and he was blanketed by DeQuell Jackson. And Mojo was all alone in the flat.
It was gonna, if they hit Maurice Jones-Drew with the play, he'll catch the ball and have one-on-one with a defender after he catches the football. He'll have plenty of time to catch it and turn upfield, but they never even looked at him.
Disappointing day for Jack Del Rio and the Cleveland Browns, a team that has left a few victories on the table, including last week, comes away with the win, 14-10.
Tremendously competitive game. As you watch here, as we'll give you another look at that last touchdown. Maurice Jones-Drew is going to come out this direction, and watch, he'll have one defender who comes with him, but he's clear in the end zone. You see that? Fujita's out there 3 yards in the end zone. That would have been a catch there with a one-on-one tackle, and Maurice Jones-Drew hasn't been tackled by one guy all day.
So the Cleveland Browns win it 14-10. For Steve Tasker, this is Bill McAtee saying so long from Cleveland. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, and NFL Today update presented by Verizon is coming up.